Hey guys, RJ from Laro Animation Studios here, and for today's video I want to show you my process on animating this portrait we did on part 1 of the Draw This in Your Style challenge. So this is part 2 of the challenge, and if you haven't already checked part 1, make sure to check it on the description below. So let's get right on it. Hey guys, so I'm back on part 2 of this Draw This in Your Style challenge. At this point, I am showing you how I am setting up this portrait we did on part 1 so that we can animate it. If you haven't already watched it, you can find the link of part 1 on the description below. So right off the bat, I am setting up the pivot points of the peg of each drawing. I am doing this to each part like the hair, the eyes, face, and the rest of the drawing. This is to ensure that when we decide to animate this, it will rotate or move at the most logical way. Like the head should be rotated at the area of the neck, or the hair rotating at the skull. This should be done first before you start animating, so you don't have to go back figuring this out when you are in the middle of your work. The second part of this setup is creating what is called a deformer in Toon Boom Harmony. In order to make this work, we needed those drawings to be independent to each other, and that is the reason why we separated each part. There is a detailed step-by-step tutorial video about deformers that Toon Boom Animation channel did, and you can also find it in the description below. Right now, we are using the curve mode of the rigging tool deformer. I simply click the rigging tool, click at one end and drag, click on the middle and drag, and click on the other end and drag. We are repeating this process to all the hairs. In this part of the video, I am using the envelope mode of the rigging tool deformer. It works the same way as the curve mode, but this time we are working around the drawing. You can always edit the deformer as long as you are in the setup mode and not in the animating mode. We are doing this on this beanie and at the sleeve of the shirt. At this point, it's safe to say that these are the parts we are animating on this video: the hair, the beanie, and the shirt sleeve. Now on to the real juicy part of the video, which is how do we animate this portrait. As I mentioned before, we are mostly focusing on animating the hair, beanie, and the sleeve. As you can see, I am using the deformer to move the drawing and change its shape. This is the reason why I use Toon Boom Harmony, because of all the things you can do animation wise. It is also considered to be the industry standard for animation. The way I am approaching the animation of the hair is through the wave animation. I only learned how to animate a wave when I did this work, so you can see a lot of trial and error that I am doing on this video. With the use of the timeline below, I am changing the shape of the hair strand to imitate a waving motion and creating a keyframe for each of the change I make. This chart of the waving motion that indicates each of the frames is what I used to create this animation. This came from the book The Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams, which is considered to be the Bible for animators. Make sure you have this book if you really want to dive in and learn animation. Since we are not doing a frame-by-frame animation, you will not see a keyframe for each frame shown on the chart. We are doing a motion tween using the deformer, which interpolates the motion that happens between each keyframe. So I am only creating a keyframe that shows the shape of the hair at the extreme points where the hair is located and starts to change its shape. Again, there is a lot of trial and error on this one because this is the first time I'm doing a wave animation. The preview you see is a lot faster as well, since this is a time-lapse video. But here's an actual preview in real time of the first strand of hair we animated. As I proceed to animating the next strands of the hair for this video, I am repeating the process I did on the first strand of the hair. I am also becoming faster on creating those keyframes because I already had an idea on how to do this. This time, however, I am doing an offset of the keyframes for the different strands of the hair so that it doesn't move the same way at each point of the timeline. This creates a more dynamic animation for something simple as a hair being blown by the wind. For the animation of the beanie and the sleeve, I am only creating 2 keyframes that spans to 6 frames each because I really want to avoid having a very complicated movement for it. You can see the amount of trial and error I am doing just to capture the right keyframes. And since we are only doing 2 keyframes, we have to make sure that the distortions of these 2 keyframes are kept to a minimum. Also, keep in mind that a simple movement would do as long as you know what kind of animation you are doing. This simple animation I did was done to explore what Toon Boom Harmony can do. I was simply playing around with the software and decided to share with you my process of learning animation. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you were able to follow along with this simple tutorial I did. I have to admit that this is not a very refined step-by-step tutorial on how to animate a portrait. However, What I wanted to show you on this video is the behind the scenes of figuring out the movements and motions that ties into a particular animation. So, if you like to follow me on my journey on becoming good in animation, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos weekly. Once again, thank you guys for watching and I hope to see you on the next video.